everyone, this is me, Dusty Circuit here. And today it's not gonna be kind of a usual video topic for me. It's gonna be something a little different, though. This is something that I believe, like the day, it was the day of the, the last, announcement of the winners for the skate, writing competition. It was, literally, right after I ended that video, I think Blue brought up, I was like, well, I don't know what to write about. And then Blue says, oh, well, why don't you write about your experience with the spring severe weather that the United States deals with every spring, and especially the storms that have been hitting just in this entire decade. Like the 2020s, man, have just been rough as far as tornadoes and severe weather has been going. And so, and then it was like, well, funny you brought that up, because I believe at one point, and I actually had a thought, hey, why not I make a video, just to share my experience, and why, both about an event that, let's just say, may have scarred me for life and maybe made me take severe weather more seriously, and also just how it's affected me psychologically, and how I deal with that these days, or just the fear that comes with storms that are coming. And so, well, for those of you who are watching who are not from the US, who are just not really all that familiar with this, well, basically every springtime, the United States, or more specifically the Midwestern parts, but even sometimes the East, depending on depending on the atmospheric conditions, basically experiences just waves of severe storms, and even tornado outbreaks if the conditions are bad enough, or if the conditions are favorable for that sort of thing. And since 2011, I've just been really, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I've just been kind of paranoid about severe weather, because so what happened in 2011 was basically an EF4 tornado came through my neighborhood, my subdivision that I live in, and it did not, and luckily for us, it didn't cause that very much damage to my not only my home, but my family's home, but just a lot of the houses surrounding it didn't really get very much damage. Really, if anything, just maybe roof damage, some roof damage, siding damage, and many downed trees. Uh, but yet areas not too far away, uh, had the kind of damage that you see, like from tornadoes that regularly happen in places like Oklahoma and Kansas and like Nebraska, where you just see neighborhoods of just houses just leveled and just debris just everywhere. Like you can tell there was you can tell there are houses there, but they're just destroyed and just debris is just scattered everywhere. Like there was that kind of damage not too far from me, like in other neighbor there was like the subdivision I'm in only got down like trees downs, but the like the next subdivision over from us basically had had more heavy damage and destruction. And and my sister and I actually think why this is the case is when the tornado was coming through, it was going fairly quickly. It was pretty fast, like was pretty fast moving, and we actually live kind of down in a valley, and so what basically happened was when it was actually on the ground and causing the more heavier damage. It was actually on the ground that the tornado was, but when it passed direct over our subdivision, it basically, I guess it was moving fast enough where it didn't drop down into the valley, and and while it was going over us, it was not on the ground, but it still caused damage to trees. It knocked trees down, and like when we first moved into our house, we've had in our backyard we have two pretty tall pin oak trees, probably 100-foot tall oak trees. I don't know if they're that well. They're pretty tall. I don't know if they're that tall, but it's uh. But then when the tornado came through, the literally one of the trees, but basically was knocked down, and literally all the roots were just ripped out of the ground like it was a weed. And by luck, the tree fell away from our house. So really, if you think about it, we actually kind of dodged two bullets that day. And but even though we got away lucky and we didn't lose our house that day or that night, I let's just say that experience basically uh had some psychological consequences or impacts that even to that even affect me today, because it's now when I was because now whenever storms are expected to come, whenever storms are forecasted, especially tornadic storms, I get worried and I get nervous. And and whenever we get a tornado watch now, I get pretty like I get pretty nervous. And so the day so kind of how so the day that storm happened, it was just kind of it just started out as just a normal day. Like I believe at the time I was in middle school, and I think I was like 12 years old. And of course we were living in the same house we're in today, but I think we'd moved in, I think, in 2010, so we've only been living here 2 years. And well, actually, oh wait, one year, because it was in it was in 2011. But it's it was just a normal day. I was just in my room, sitting at the computer, just kind of. I think I was watching a YouTube video, or playing like a either playing games or watching a YouTube video or something. And then my mom tells me to go watch the weather, because they're talking about some pretty serious storms that are about to come through. And I think I think I would have heard like an earlier weather forecast mentioning the threat of a threat of severe weather for that day, but I just didn't think much of it. And because we would have because I would have been through many of those, yeah, actually before that. And nothing that's just like nothing happens. It's just we might get rain or some thunder, and or maybe some hail, and it kind of goes through without really causing much damage. But that day was different. And but we didn't know it, and but we didn't quite know that at the time. But so of course I go into the living room, and and then I start watching the weather on our TV. And then and then they're talking about, and then like they're kind of going, and then the weatherman is talking about, hey, like about the storms that are coming, that are approaching our area. And then for a little while, it just looked like it might just be a really bad, it might just be a bad thunderstorm that's gonna hit us. But then and then here it comes. A tornado warning is issued for an area just west of where we live. And we our city, like our county, was predicted to be directly in the path. And and then I think they mentioned that there actually was confirmed damage from this. And I think they confirmed that this probably, or this most likely, is on the ground now. And if there is a tornado, it's going to come out of this. It's touchdown by this point. And it was it was like probably going to hit us in like 5 to 10 minutes, right? Or probably like 6 minutes. And by that point, we were just scrambling to try to get like pillows and blankets, and or if there's any like precious objects that that we could save before the storm hits. Well, while it's safe to do so, we did. But course, when you're actually under the warning, you have to get to that is the time to seek shelter, because you don't know how fast it's moving, and it's you don't know when it's gonna come. And and then I think I would have just grabbed a few things really quickly, and then I just went downstairs. And then because I think I would have, because I heard them talk about, well, this is serious. This is an actual tornado that's in progress, that's going to impact our area. And uh so at that point, I was in the basement, and so I think me and my mom are the first to go in the basement, but then my sister was having to get our pet cat downstairs. And uh let's just say for probably a couple of minutes, my sister had to chase the cat around the house, trying to get it, trying to get her and our cat carrier so we could actually bring her downstairs. And though though I believe before we went in the basement, I think I would have briefly looked out the window, I think just out of curiosity, and just it's just the lookouts, just the way the sky looked, and just kind of how the general how the atmosphere outside looked. It was something else. It was not only overcast, but like really dark. And oddly enough, there was like a green cast to the sky, like kind of like, I guess, kind of like the Northern Lights, but like, just imagine the Northern Lights, but much much more eerie, and with an overcast sky. and and then when and so it's, you even, it's like, even if you don't know, like, even if you don't get, like, it's like the kind of thing where even if you didn't know a tornado was coming, you know something's up. There's some kind of serious storm coming. And it's and so my sister finally manages to get so my sister finally manages to catch the cat, and then she brings her downstairs. But then, right as she was walking downstairs, that's when the lights went out. That's when the power got knocked out. And then within probably the next minute or two after that, then we heard the rain start to fall. But then we heard the sound of the tornado approaching, and it was something else. It was, of course, a lot of tornado victims describe that, like who have gone through this, who describe it as like a freight train, or like a jet engine, but it was pretty loud. Like, it was a pretty loud roar. And it's at that point, we were like, I mean, we were in our basement, we were safe, but at that point, we were panicking at that point. We're like, oh my god, this thing's heading straight for us. Like, please don't let it. Please don't let it hit our house. Please just let it blow over, and please don't let it destroy our house. And then And then we heard, then we heard probably like, well, then we heard several loud crashes and like, and at that point we were pretty scared. At that point, we thought our if our house isn't destroyed, it probably took some serious damage. And and then it got quiet, and then it was just it's then we're just sitting in our basement in the dark, like just in shock, and and we were afraid to go upstairs because, well, we heard it, we heard the tornado or whatever this was. I know this is a tornado, but I guess either we weren't entirely sure or we were just in such disbelief that I guess we didn't quite come to terms with what just happened. But it for like for probably a few more minutes, like probably not another 5 minutes, we just sat in our basement, just in shock, and some of us were probably crying, and like we were so frightened, and and then the phone starts ringing, and then we're like, okay, and then we had this moment of, well, if the phone's ringing, maybe should we go upstairs and maybe should we go upstairs and investigate? And so or maybe just maybe see what's going on. But if because I think at that point we thought our house got, if not leveled, like severely, like probably severely damaged, and we thought was probably not going to be very. We're probably gonna have to walk through rubble. It was probably so it was probably not pleasant. Wouldn't be pleasant for us to walk upstairs, but then we walk upstairs, and of course power's still out, or it's basically we're in darkness, apart from our flashlights. And to our surprise, pretty much the house looked to be okay, though albeit with there were leaves literally just stuck to the windows, and there were trees down outside, but and then we saw the one of the trees in our backyard that was knocked down, and my sister actually got it on video and uploaded it to YouTube. But I've looked for the video, and it seems to no longer be up on YouTube anymore, unfortunately. But it was something else. It was just like, imagine this really tall, like, not the tallest tree you've ever seen in your life, but a pretty big, pretty tall, like, oak tree, literally just toppled over, laying on the ground with basically a lot of the roots just ripped out of the ground. And like and I think there's even there's even part of the ground that was just around the roots, basically like it's still attached to the tree, like that, like it was something else. And And I think our neighbor had a tree fall on their house, though that damage was though their house that house shortly got repaired, and it still stands today. But it's that was quite the experience for me. It was pretty much I pretty much went through like pretty much the entire like everything like every like pretty much every like aspect of a the kind of experience that a tornado that a tornado victim would go through, except for the part of having to walk through the rubble of their house that was destroyed, because our house didn't get destroyed, luckily. But it we and it's just experiences like this have just made me believe in miracles, that miracles can happen sometimes. And that definitely was a miracle, because it literally was a violent tornado that should have flattened our house, but it didn't, because of like I said, it was moving. It was likely moving too fast to actually drop down in our valley and actually cause damage to our subdivision anyway. Though, out of curiosity, I actually did look at, I believe it's a site called Tornado Archive, which is pretty much like a whole data, like it pretty much is like a map of that shows not only all the tornadoes that hit the U.S., but also that hit the world. And like you can go, but you can go like it's like you can look at pretty much in any country or any continent, like what tornadoes touch down from really like you can go like I think you can go back like you could go back like centuries, and at least everything. I guess if there was a record of a tornado there, it's on that website. And of course, out of curiosity, I actually looked at of course the tornado that affected me that night. And it's the actual it, and it, it's the actual path, and though the actual path of the tornado, according to that, is was put is shown as actually passing just north of my house, but by what we experienced, we're pretty confident that the tornado did pass over us. And or maybe or maybe if it didn't directly pass over us, or maybe it might have kind of just I might have I mean it might have grazed us, but I kind of was maybe off to the side of us when it passed over. But like it was definitely it was well, I mean it was close enough for us to hear the roar of the winds, and for it to cause pretty significant damage in our area. And in fact, that same tornado actually also hit our local airport, and actually caused damage there. And there's even a video that's you can still find on YouTube today of course what actually happened at the airport when the tornado hit, and it was uh it was pretty it must have been pretty terrifying for everybody who was there at that time. I mean, like, not everyone really quite knew where to go, where to seek shelter. But of course, nowadays, there's like the bathrooms. I think there's like signs in the bathrooms that actually say that they're actually labeled as either a tornado shelter or a storm shelter. This is where to go in the event that a tornado hits in the future. And so and also we were like so we were without power. Like we were expecting to be without power for quite a while, but I think so the tornado hit on Good Friday of that year, and I believe actually by Easter was when we actually got power restored, which is actually quite crazy to think about because it's like that was like for like in all the time at least that I've lived in this house that I'm living in today. That was our longest time we were without power, and like and it was pretty. I mean, I guess it could be that the tornado didn't cause a ton of like catastrophic damage for in our area. Like it just knocked trees down and caused just some damage to roofs and siding and stuff. And I guess at least the power lines in our area, I guess were I guess the linemen that work in our area were able to repair them pretty quickly. But it's I have huge I have huge respects to our like our linemen and our power company, because like it's like it's like if we could have a storm like that, like if we could have a tornado, mind you, come through our area, and then we get power restored in 3 days. That's that's a pretty that's quite impressive. There's I've heard like areas of that have gotten hit by just severe thunderstorms. Like go have to go like a a week without power or more, and and yet we got it restored in 3 days. So though my subdivision actually doesn't have any overhead power lines, we have underground power lines. So it's like unless the whatever what that's unless the lines that connect to our subdivision get knocked down, we don't lose power. And we've had several subsequent severe storms come through our area, and even some other subsequent tornadic storms. And like at least since that storm, we've never lost, like, I don't want to say we've never lost power, but like we've had many other storms come through, and we haven't lost power. I mean, like sometimes we've had the power flicker, but other than that, it's never really gone out for us, which is kind of really is crazy to think about because just like I believe just about half a month ago we had a really bad tornado watch. We have a PDS, or particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. It was kind of the end of the tornado season, but unfortunately we were going to have a pretty bad outbreak of severe weather hit before it's gonna start winding down. But as part of that outbreak, we had there was in fact a storm that was within probably 5 miles just to the south of us had turned tornadic, and in fact at one point even dropped a tornado. And 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 then when and but the severe thunderstorms were still quite considerable. Like I've heard, at least for this particular storm that was going to impact our area, I think I've heard it was dropping lime-sized hail, which is pretty significant, and probably some pretty strong wind gusts. But we've had many storms like that come through, and in fact, actually, kind of near the beginning of of tornado season this year, we've had a storm literally drop a tornado actually just to our west. And as far as as far as I was aware, we were pretty much, it wasn't directly gonna hit us, but but it was basically we were pretty deep. We were pretty in for most of these, the tornado warning would just be just to our north or to our south. This time, or at least for this time, we were pretty much directly in the path. Though we thought that, well, if the tornado would stay on the ground, would probably pass just to our south, but we would be very close. But luckily for us, it actually the tornado lifted before it actually came over our area. But when that storm was passing over us, it was still pretty loud. Like you can tell, it was a pretty powerful storm that was passing over us. But what but nothing happened. We didn't even lose power. And I mean, I'm not complaining about it. It's it's win-win for me. If I don't lose power, it means I can pretty much return to normal life as soon as the storms are over. And it's pretty much the only major power outages I can really remember having to go through was after that tornado in 2011. And then there was one where I think a transformer that's, I think, in our neighbor's one, behind our neighbor's yard, went out. They would think it actually it's we heard kind of a small explosion, and then our power went out. And then I think maybe that evening or tomorrow evening, they already had the power company sending their crews actually to actually go replace that. And I kind of remember that because I think like I was in my sister's bedroom, and I think we were like looking out the window, like watching them replace it. But apart from those two power outages, though, we were that time we were only without power for maybe a day or a day and a half. But apart from those power outages, we've been pretty fortunate. Like even despite having multiple severe thunderstorms or even tornadic storms that were not actually that didn't drop a tornado on us, but were still very capable of producing tornadoes pass over our area. And it didn't like it we never would lose power. It's crazy. Though though as for the impact of that storm, as for the long-term impact of that storm for me, I was pretty traumatized. I was like 12 years old at the time, and I'm also autistic, and so it's it's actually it's no secret now that for many autistics, it actually like that many autistics experience more stronger emotions than than most other people do. And it's and also one of my friends on Skate actually found an article actually that talks about that there was a study that was done that actually proves that autistics actually that actually can be traumatized more easily than neurotypicals. Are more sensitive to traumatic experiences. And it's just when I saw that study, I immediately thought back to my tornado experience, because just kind of how it affected me. And and the thing is, I'm aware that I'm not alone here. Like everybody, I'm just like everybody who's been impacted by such storms or is just gonna feel it's just gonna be traumatized at least to some degree. And so but the effects of it on me is basically it's like every subsequent time where severe weather is in our forecast, I'm like, oh no, is there gonna be another? Is there gonna be more tornadoes coming? And it's I. You see the reason I get scared though is it's not like I'm not afraid that I'm gonna die. It's like it's not that. It's that I'm afraid that and I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my house and and also my belongings. And And while many would say, "Oh, it's your wife is more important," like your house can always be rebuilt, you can always get new stuff, but it's like your house and your belongings can be replaced, but your wife can't. And while that is true, it's just still not a pleasant thing, or even especially if you have or maybe even especially if you have something you value quite a lot, or especially if it's something a pretty significant monetary value. Of course, in my case, being my computer, uh, it can, for just a tornado to come and basically just sweep that away from you is quite it's not pleasant. Yes, and especially if it's something that's expensive, it's going to be kind of difficult to it's going to be difficult to replace. And it's and it's just for me, it's just I get pretty it's just I get I just my anxiety and my stress levels whenever it's like by the time we're under a tornado watch, it's like I'm already experiencing uncomfortable stress levels. And by the time a tornado but when we're under a tornado warning, or we're likely to be under a tornado warning, like if like in the case there's a tornadic storm, like with a tornado on the ground that's approaching us, and that they're talking about they might extend the warning to include our area, might we might be included in the next warning. uh it's at that point, at that point I'd be experiencing painful stress levels. And it's like it's like literally I'd be so frightened that I'm like my heart rate is going up, I just I'm feel it's like my whole body is just like tensing up. And I might start to tremble. I might cold sweat. I might I might have a headache. And it's just not a pleasant thing. And it just then I just I'd be so frightened that it gets hard for me to think straight, because it's like my mind is just overwhelmed by my emotions in that moment, where I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my god, please don't please storm, go away, don't hit me, or whatever. And it's like it's like the kind of feeling that it's it's like have you ever it's like if you've ever been it's like if you've ever thrown up before, or if you've kind of had that feeling in your body that's like you're about to vomit. It's kind of like that, and to an extent. And it's and but and the entire time through, even the forecast, to the tornado watch, to the tornado warning if it happens, or if it comes to us being in a tornado warning, like I'm pretty it's just the thought that that storm could drop a tornado and just literally sweep my life away. It's always in the back of my mind. And it's it's just not a it's just very it's just not a pleasant thing. And it's just very stressful for me to go through. Though by the time it's over, and by the time it's over, my stress immediately goes back to normal levels. But by that point, I am exhausted because from being scared, it's basically it's like it drains my energy, and it just by that point, I'm just tired. I'm just tired at that point. Though at the same time, I'm kind of happy that I can return, that my life can continue on as normal. And but kind of going to today, it's my fear is still, my fear of tornadoes is still very much a thing, and especially in the face of climate change, as our severe weather is getting worse and worse. And especially in like the 2020s especially have been not nice. Like they're like we've had numerous tornado outbreaks, and even some tornado outbreaks that many people are probably gonna remember for years to come. And I mean, and like there's countless people who have been impacted more than I was, and like people have lost their homes, and sometimes or maybe or maybe even their family members, if people in the path of the storm were caught without shelter, or if or if it was a very bad storm, or if it was a really destructive tornado on the ground, and the people in the path of it didn't have the option to seek shelter underground, and just had to seek shelter in the middle of a building on the lowest level, and just kind of hope for the best. But if it's, and like in an EF5, you're gonna, or an EF4, like it can still be pretty ugly. Like if you're in that situation, you could like it's like unless you're very well protected, or if you're underground, it's not gonna be pretty. If that hits, or the building that you're in. And yeah. So, though for me, I have been very fortunate. Like despite having several bad storms come through, I've never at least since that tornado, we've not had anything like that happen. Though one time during the, I believe it was during the the December 10th tornado outbreak that occurred in 2021, like the very same outbreak that spawns the horrific tornadoes that ripped through Kentucky, most notably the city of Mayfield. Like in that same outbreak, we literally had two tornadic storms. Like there were two different storms that came through, that were tornado warned. We like through our area that were tornado warned, and at least one of them actually, it turns out one of them actually dropped an EF3 tornado just to the west, just to my west. Though Though thankfully it lifted before the storm actually would have passed over where I live. Though that was definitely kind of close for comfort. It was quite terrifying. Though though as for how I deal with this today, uh, ever since the outbreak that happened in I believe it was in March 31st, 2023. I've actually what I do is basically I grab my computer and my monitors and my keyboard. Like, I basically bring my whole computer setup into our basement. And I don't have a desk or a table down there, so I just use like I think the uh, I think the box to my gaming chair. Like, I rarely just use that box as like as a makeshift computer desk. And I just use any other boxes I can find down there as tables because we don't have tables down there. I'm thinking about maybe getting a folding table I can set up down there, and then maybe like just to use like just a cheap office chair, or just some comfortable chair that I can sit in down there. Like, if I have to, well, if severe weather is coming and I want to seek refuge down there from it. And this new strategy is actually kind of, I mean, as extreme as it might sound to some people, it's that this strategy has been working pretty well for me. Like, it allows me to just kind of take my mind off of the severe storms, and while also being sheltered from them. So it's like I can literally just be at my computer, at least up until the point where we lose power, if that happens, and and during whatever storm comes through our area, and or even if a tornado touches down and rips through our neighborhood, it's my at least my computer is going to be safe. There though there is also the risk with severe weather. There's also the risk of flash flooding, which could mean, well, if we get too much rain, we might get water in our basement. And in the event that that happens, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But it's, at the very least, it's like I'm comfortable, and well, as comfortable as I can be during such a situation anyway. But it's just it allow like it's like literally it has allowed me to be in calls with my friends, even as dangerous severe storms approach. And 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 during and I think, and also during that PDS tornado watch that I had to deal with, I actually had joined a call. I think it was just Super J Man and Nash were in it. Like, they were playing on Asgard at the time, and I just joined the call just because I was desperate. I was desperate for comfort, because of course Blue was out doing her door dashing while this was happening, and of course everybody else is like, all the Europeans have gone to bed, and I guess most of the Americans, I guess, were either busy with doing other things, or I guess, or they just weren't on the calls at the time. But and I joined the call, and well, of course I was frightened because of course I also haven't I also need to mention that I actually found two YouTubers who actually are who are basically dedicated to forecasting the weather, and in the event of severe weather hitting, they will also live stream to actually to warn people of these storms that are approaching, and so like, and it's like, I think I've watched many of their streams, like, I think so. So it's these YouTubers are one of them is Ryan Hall y'all, and another is Max Velocity, and and I've watched many of their videos and many of their streams, and of course by then I know what some of the terminology that the National Weather Service uses when they issue these watches and these warnings, and that if it's a situation that could lead to dangerous or even life-threatening storms, that they'll use such such words as PDS, and to describe both tornado watches and tornado warnings, and even tornado emergency in the event of a catastrophic, life-threatening storm that is approaching a populated area. And so of course, first I saw, like, I tuned into our local weather, like our local news websites, like, and it just, I look at the weather on there, like, from time to time, like, I check on it from time to time, and that afternoon, like, I could tell, it's like, I could tell, like, I could kind of like a tone of uncertainty, like, in the like in the like in the weatherman's voice, and like, and then I heard them mention PDS when they're describing the tornado watch that was issued for that we were included in, and I'm thinking, oh no, oh no. Maybe it's because I know, of course, I've heard that term on Ryan Hall's streams and Max Velocity streams, and I know, of course, I know what that means. Of course, and of course, it means we could have very strong, perhaps destructive storms coming through, and it's at that point I was pretty frightened, and so of course when the storms were approaching, I was just desperate for comfort, and I just joined that call. And then, of course, Super J Man and Nash did what they could to comfort me after I described the situation to them. And and then at one point, I think J Man had to leave, but Nash stayed, because I think I would have pleaded Nash to stay, because I was just scared. I was just frightened, and I was just desperate for comfort. and of course, and so Nash stayed in the call with me, and and then at one point, I was terrified because I had heard our tornado sirens go off. And at that point, I was like, oh no, here we go. And, and then I look at, then I look at the weather radar and then I see that that tornado warning was just for our area that's south of us, and then I let out a huge sigh of relief. And but of course I was still worried that because well there's still severe thunderstorms coming my way, and who knows if those are going to turn tornadic soon. And but of course but then those storms come through, and it, it gets kind of loud outside, and then it gets quiet, and then nothing else comes of it. And then within the next half hour, basically the whole line of storms is moving to our east, and then the next half hour after that, we're out of the tornado watch. And by that point, I am just relieved, and by that point, I have gone through at least basically a whole weekend of severe weather, and at that point, I was just happy to finally be able to return to normal life. And although as this video is kind of running on, I at least want to end it with in times like this, my friends will do everything they can to support me, and on the Skate Discord server, I think a few years ago we actually had a weather channel added, and during times like this, Blue actually will sometimes give us a heads up if there's particularly bad severe weather headed our way. And it's and also during the severe weather outbreaks, Blue will actually watch Ryan Hall's live streams, and if there's any storms that are go up that could impact members of our of that could impact members of the Skate Gaming community, she will let them know. And in fact, I think she's actually had to talk directly to a skater that actually was in the path of a tornado at one point. I believe it was a confirmed tornado, and and then I heard I think that they were actually at work at the time, and they had to shelter in like a cooler, sort of like a walk-in like freezer. And it was and it got quite loud, but they survived, and they're okay. But no, but it was pretty, though it did come pretty close. And I think I even heard later, during a later storm outbreak, there was another skater that I think that told that it said mentioned that think they were on the road. I think either going home from I think they were going home from work, or and like there was and I think they mentioned that an EF4 tornado that affected a nearby community was actually like fairly close to them. And yeah, it was scary, but they're okay, which is the important thing. And it's heart what just it's but it's just heartwarming to me to see not only my community, like my community of skate gaming, like actually support like supporting everybody has to go through these storms. And and even like when I've watched both Ryan Hall's and Max Velocity's live streams, like the chat, I've watched the chat and during those streams, and it's just it's just the amount of people sending prayers to those affected by storms, like kind of hoping for the best, and sending other people good vibes and supports, and looking out for one another. I mean, there are some people that get that kind of panic that it's like, oh my, like, oh no, I'm in this high risk zone or whatever. But it's that's being mentioned, or that either Ryan Hall or Max Velocity is mentioning as the high risk zone, or oh no, I'm in that zone. But it's for the most part, it's just everyone kind of gathering together, showing love and support, and just kind of sending prayers to those to those getting impacted by the storms. And just at no point do you ever hear talk about politics or religion, or anything controversial or petty or anything like that. It's just everybody gathering together and showing support. And I also saw this during and I also kind of witnessed this during the storm, the tornado that hit my neighborhood in 2011. It's like that following week, like when I went to school. It's like all of us that had went through that storm, or at least everybody who goes to that school that was impacted. We were kind of talking about like how scary it was, and kind of sharing some of our experiences. And and it's I mean, like, despite it's like I mean it's just awesome to see people, even in this country that is currently that what kind of always has been going through political turmoil, but especially now with kind of the aftermath of the pandemic, and what's what's been going on most recently in the US. Like, it's like despite all of that going on, it still just warms my heart just to see people coming together, and in the face of this dangerous severe weather. It's just really heartwarming to see, people showing support and and love, and especially send prayers to those impacted by the storms. And I'm just very grateful now that I actually have of course I have this strategy of what to do, what to do in the event of severe weather, and also friends to comfort me when it comes through. And it's just I can't be grateful enough for that. And also just a few days ago, I kind of got on this I kind of get in. I found some YouTubers. I believe it was like it was somebody in the UK, and they think their channel like they and it's like they uploaded their videos. They called Brit Reacts to, and then it's like all these different things, like they're reacting to stuff about the US and about other countries. And I found that I found their reaction videos to kind of to the tornadoes that happen in the US. And it's uh it's kind of interesting to see, of course, when they see like the pictures of the damage and the stories of those impacted, of course, they're horrified. They're horrified by it and to hear about it. But it's like, I mean, it's also cool to kind of see like people around the world also showing like not only just in the U.S. but around the world, people showing actually gosh, showing like love and support for those who are affected by it. Like to see people in other countries becoming aware of this too. And this video's running on long, so I think I'm gonna end it here. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Uh, if stay safe. If you're in the U.S., if you live in areas impacted by severe weather and tornadoes, stay safe. And if you liked what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see my next videos, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. Peace out. Bye.